It's nearly 2 years since the Air France flight plunged into the Atlantic, but only now are we getting an insight into the final moments inside the cockpit. It's coming from these, the plane's black boxes, which were recovered earlier this month. After taking off from Rio de Janeiro, the plane left Brazil's radar coverage and headed across the Atlantic. During some turbulence, the plane's airspeed indicators weren't working properly. That led to the autopilot disengaging and one of the co-pilots taking over. But despite stall warnings from the plane, he kept edging its nose upwards. It climbed to 38,000 feet, but was in a position where the wings could no longer provide lift. That caused an aerodynamic stall, even though the engines were still running.
When the aircraft stalled, it would have required a very positive lowering of the nose, something like this, 10, 20 degrees, perhaps as much as that, to reduce the angle of attack so the airflow re-established over the wings, so now the aircraft could accelerate away and be recovered. And that's what the crew didn't do. They had not been trained to do the full stall recovery.
The plane dropped like a stone at more than 120 miles an hour, hitting the ocean tail first just 3.5 minutes later. When the crisis began, the most senior member of the flight crew, the captain, was away from the cockpit on a legitimate break. 45 seconds after the autopilot disengaged, one of his co-pilots called him back. But it was another 50 crucial seconds before he returned. And by then, they had less than 3 minutes left. It was an unusual set of circumstances, and today's update doesn't apportion blame or draw conclusions. The final report, expected next year, may well make recommendations for extra training to make sure it doesn't happen again. Richard Scott, BBC News.